Oh, my. What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Geek Nation? You're currently tuning into the CultPop podcast live stream, aka spoiler alert, episode 769. Nice. Where we review the past week's comics as well as talk about some fun pop culture topics for your listening and viewing pleasure. I am your host, Johnny Destructo of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA. Super rad shop for super rad folks like yourselves. Joining me tonight are Brian Lieb and Noel Bartocci. Sup, fellas?
Hey! Hi!
Oh, that's so much.
I'm trying to level off the I just woke up energy. So I figured, come out hard. I mean, wait, no, that's the wrong phrasing. Come in
hard, go away soft, right? That's the saying. Yeah.
What's the opposite of flaccid and fast?
Flaccid and
fast. Too flaccid, too furious.
Hi, guys. Hi.
Discussion topic. Fellas, looking ahead to 2022, even though we're in it now, but looking ahead to the rest of 2022, what are your comics that you're most looking forward to, either new or returning, or on your shelf waiting to be read or revisited? All right, well, that's a lot. All right, so your options are new book for 2022, returning book for 2022, something that's just on your shelf that you haven't read yet, or something that's on your shelf and you've read but you want to revisit. Go, Ryan.
Oh, I'm first. Let's see. What Noel just sent something to our chat about James Tynion doing some Sandman stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It's in the April solicitations. It's something country.
So something country. Dream country?
I'll look it up. Keep going.
All right. Although then I heard that I read a further article by him about it. He said he loves A Doll's House and maybe Volume 1 also the most. And I was like, oh, those are probably, although great, my least favorite of the, of the Sandman volumes. He's like, I really like the personal horror aspects. And I was like, all right, well, we'll see. James Tynion is usually pretty cool. So we'll see what happens.
It's Nightmare Country. It's called Sandman Nightmare Country. It will feature the Corinthian.
Yeah. The Corinthian is
That's
fine.
The guy
he's cool.
Where he's got teeth, but then in his eyes he's got teeth.
Yeah. He's got mouths for eyes. And he wears sunglasses so that, you can't see that.
Well, I mean, I feel like you can't just go into a random 7-Eleven and get a hot dog with eyes.
Yeah. You got to book that 7-Eleven ahead.
Yeah. You have to. I mean, go late at night with sunglasses. Don't just walk in, three mouths blazing.
You're not getting that hot dog with no problems.
Yeah, and this. I mean, I haven't finished Sandman, but does he imbibe things through his eyes?
I don't know, but I was just thinking if he got a hot dog, he should get two pigs in a blanket also.
Oh, right, 2 little baby hot dogs.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I mean,
I picture him with one of those beer hats, but with 3 straws.
That would be cool.
I don't want to discriminate against the smaller mouths in his face, so it's just one thing to eat, and then he takes separate bites.
That's cool. That's cool
depending on what's going on. Yeah. He's like, oh, hey.
I don't remember seeing him ever eat anything with those eyes, or even with his regular mouth.
Isn't he a Nightmare Made Manifest? He probably doesn't necessarily need to eat.
No, he's got a different thing going on.
So, Brian, what's your answer?
I guess it's that Nightmare Country.
Oh, okay, cool. Noel.
Oh, I wrote this question. I don't have an answer. I added all of those addendums because I realized that we only really have solicitations till April, if you really wanted to even look that far. But the idea being what are you looking forward to reading in 2022? So it could be something that you're sitting on. And I honestly want to finish Lucifer. I think that's what I'm looking most forward to. But I've got so many. I've got a bunch of runs that are waiting for me. I'm sitting in front of them, finishing Lucifer, continuing Sandman, finishing the Flash by Jeff Johns. So just the runs that I had started in 2021 trying to juggle them all also. But also, I actually think more importantly, and I did a dent last night, Saga. I read like 6 issues of it before bed because I'm too behind to start reading next week. Way too behind because I'm in issue 24. But by the time, those collections start coming out, I would like to be on target. Because, I mean, if they did it like last time, they'll do 6 issues and then a break, and then 6 issues and a break. So I'm hoping that I can maybe never. Go ahead.
I've never read it, and it looked so interesting that I bought. I think it started around the time that Lucifer ended. Ooh, what's that you've got there, JD? That says Saga on it.
Stickers.
So those are adorable. Mike, see, I don't know who the hell those people are, except maybe 2 of them. So my conundrum is, will I read this fast enough to catch up on singles, or do I just spread it out? So I'm halfway through the original run. Issues start coming out this week. Do I just buy them and stockpile them?
Yeah.
Or do I just wait for collected editions of the new stuff?
It's a tough call. I have about 2 years worth of the first 2 years of Saga that I was just like doing what you described. That I'm like, I'm gonna get to this.
I'm at least in it. Like I'm at least in it. You were just like in hopes, and also too.
Yeah.
Do you still have all those original issues?
I mean, I must, but
you need to find them and let's price them with you because they will go for a lot of money. Would you like some extra speculator money?
I mean, that would be cool, but the barriers to me finding them are difficult to surmount.
Point me in the direction. I'll find them for you, and we'll get cut in, and then we'll sell them through JD. It'll be great.
Yeah.
But what do you think, JD? Should I put down for the single issues or just kind of wait for the trades? Because I'm so far behind.
At the point you're out now, being so far behind, just do the trades. Especially, I mean, you could let us know next week after you read the newest issue for the podcast if you want how you want to proceed.
I knew this was going to come up, and I was probably going to abstain from reading it.
I know.
I
I imagine what'll happen is I'll do a Thunder round on it.
There you go.
Even though it's the biggest title being next week.
Yeah.
If not all month.
I mean, that's arguable.
You could argue it. What else has come out?
I mean, it's the only title that's having a midnight release that sent me 2 stickers and bookmarks.
But that is all their thing, right? Like, that's all stuff that they do to try to make it the biggest title. But the biggest title...
It is a very, very big deal for fans. A very, very big deal.
Sure.
But
mine is actually Noel stole mine. That son of a bitch. I was going to say Saga. I'm catching up on Saga, and I'm very excited. I'm only like 1.5 volumes away from catching up because I'm reading the big compendium, and I'm very excited to catch up and hopefully be on track. Also, Paper Girls. Finished Paper Girls, and I'm very excited to finally. I have the compendium of that as well, and I'm very excited to finally finish that. So
that's another one I haven't finished.
Hey guys, I just remembered that the Decorum trade is probably coming out in 2022 at some time, and I didn't get to that either, but I'm looking forward to the trade.
I probably won't read you many.
That was a fun short story. 8 issues. Yeah. I think you would really like it, Brian.
Cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed the first 3 or whatever that. I think we read 1 or 2 of them for the show.
Did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for everyone joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. If you like what we're doing here, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We are finally updated with all of the podcasts on the stream on the iTunes and what have you stream. I've been lax in putting them up. We have been editing it for us. They're all edited and everything is up to date on the iTunes. So we're going to be back on our schedule. We're going to live stream Monday night and then hopefully be able to add the shows to the iTunes stream, to the audio stream the very next day on Tuesdays. So we're going to try our best to keep up with that. So my apologies if you're listening to this on iTunes. We just dropped 8 episodes this week, so enjoy them. Doing this live is with you all in the chat, so pipe up. You can also email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com, and you can join the book club Facebook group. It's JD's Hero Complex Book Club, which is a Facebook group where we post all of the different things to vote on, what we're going to be doing. Book clubs and movie clubs every Tuesday night, and that's where I post the Zoom links for both of those aforementioned clubs. Oh, with that out of the way, we've got letters.
Oh,
We've got letters.
Oh, we've got one.
Let's
One letter.
Let's read it.
This one's from Chris St. Saucy Goodnight. See, here's the thing. I what's the word? I copied the letter into our notes, but I did not copy the subject of the letter. So I don't know what this means. At least I don't think so. I can still taste things, but my body is sore and I have a cough. I guess he's feeling better. This is literally the first time I've been sick since the start of 2019, and honestly, I'm not sure how long before that I was sick. I'm double vaxxed, but not boosted. I took tonight off, and I'm hoping I'll wake up fit as a fiddle tomorrow. Usually, if I get the flu, it's like a 24-hour thing. Did you finish Plot Holes? It reminded me of Joe the Barbarian or Crossover. So, Chris, did you... what's the word? Kickstart Plot Holes or Indiegogo Plot Holes? Or you said it reminded you of that because what we showed on the screen? No, never mind. He answers the question.
Yeah.
It was smaller than I was hoping for the price that I Indiegogo'd it, but I'm hoping maybe for a sequel. I enjoyed the new Scream, but of course I had issues, don't I always? If you haven't watched Black Bear on Amazon Prime or Hulu, I recommend. I don't know what Black Bear is. Do you guys know what Black Bear is?
No.
I do not. I've not heard of that one.
Yeah.
What did Saint Saucy's in the chat? Did he give his review of Plot Holes? How did you like it, Chris? Did you finish reading it?
He thought it was smaller than he wanted it to be.
Oh, did you think it was? Did you finish it at all, JD?
No.
I read one more issue since, and I would not compare it to Crossover, or what was the other one?
Joe the Barbarian.
Joe the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Maybe Joe the Barbarian is just style, obviously, because it's Sean Murphy.
The same guy, yeah.
It is not like Crossover at all. At all. Not even in. No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess fictional becoming real, but that's not even the context of Plot Holes. Also, Plot Holes is it's a lot messier than Crossover. Like, throughout the whole first issue, I was actually questioning, so how does this work, and what are the stakes, and what's the purpose, and why? And so if they win, it's just a book. Okay. Whereas in Crossover, it was a little bit more explained, at least from jump, so I know how things would work. So I don't know. I have so far. I'm gonna finish it, but so far I have a meh impression of Plot Holes, especially for the hoops to get to it.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Oh, similar to Joe the Barbarian, it's a bunch of people from different genres coming together.
Okay. Yeah,
that makes sense.
The toys and stuff.
I get that.
Yeah.
So glad you're feeling better, Chris St. Saucy. Good night. I love the screen. I can't wait to go back and rewatch it if by myself if I have to. I'd like to go see it in 4DX or whatever it's called because I want to know what a Harvey's like with all the weird mist stab. The different. What do you call it?
The little air jets.
Air jets and shit.
The immersive experience. The immersive
experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe somebody will stab you when you're
Fingers
watching
crossed.
It. Yeah.
Let's move on to the books. Oh yes.
I have a question. There's a giant bat symbol back in behind you, and I'm just curious as to what that classic comic is. It's on your little wall of comics there.
There's a Batman comic? That's Dark Knight Rises. Book 2.
Bat. I think you said at symbol, like at.
No, bat symbol.
I think it's book 3 and 4.
I've got some delightful books up there.
Oh, yeah?
And there's a lot of really early, amazing Spider-Mans.
Oh, sweet. Wait, is that the one? Oh,
It's
that's a
the one.
classic Spider-Man.
1967 first
Ooh,
appearance of Kingpin.
Nice. Oh, is that the
This
first appearance
is-
of Kingpin?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Dark Knight Returns 3
Sweet.
and Dark Knight Returns 4. But yeah, dude, there's Amazing Spider-Man number 3 up there.
Really?
First
Wow.
appearance of Dr. Octopus.
That's pretty cool. Is that a new thing for the shop there?
Newly put up.
Newly put up. Okay. Wow,
Displayed,
that's
yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, there's also the death of Gwen Stacy, the death of Green Goblin,
Oh.
Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1 by Stan Lee and Ditko.
Is that the one
First appearance
where?
of the Sinister Six.
Oh, sweet. And also, I think that's like a bunch of other Marvel characters are in that, right? Like Thor's just kind of flying by in the background, and he sees him for a minute.
Oh, does he? Maybe.
I
I
think
don't think
that's
so,
the
but maybe.
Annual number 1. It's something early, but it was like a big deal. They're like not really part of the story. They're just kind of like, hey,
Right.
Thor exists in the same world. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Bolero number 1 from Image Comics by Wyatt Kennedy and Luana Vecchio. A woman running away from a broken heart discovers a mother key into parallel universes. The rules are, there are certain rules. Sorry. The rules are, the key can work on any door. The mother will only let you visit 53 different universes. Do not ask to speak to the mother. And never hop more than 53 times. So I am super glad I did not read this
Yeah, that
solicitation
sucks.
for the issue before reading this issue. I had no idea what Bolero was. It was just, I was like, oh, that's a cool cover. And we wound up checking it out. And I was in, like, before the multiverse thing happens, I was already engaged. I was already really enjoying the story. It didn't have to have any big sci-fi twist or bend to it as far as I was concerned. I was just engaged in the story they were telling. And then shit, yeah, the multiverse thing happened. And I was like, oh, this is my jam. I love this shit. I love the multiverse. Give me some more, which is very in the zeitgeist right now. Multiverses are, it's new, it's hip, it's wow. Or no, it's hip, it's wow, it's now. Isn't that what it is? From Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3? Ted Raimi is like in J. Jonah Jameson's office doing their new.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hip, it's now, it's wow.
Which is so cool, right? Given that was the reason that DC, one of the reasons that they said they were doing Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1985 was like, oh, people, it's too confusing having a multiverse. Yeah. And I was always like, well, what's confusing about that, right? Like, it's not confusing at all. And it's cool that the idea of alternate universes is, out there in pop culture now. Here's a pop culture connection. Hugh Everett, I think, original proponent, the physicist of the many worlds interpretation of quantum physics, has a son who is the lead singer of the Eels.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
I think
neat.
they're a British
I'm
band.
familiar with the Eels.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Brian?
Of Bolero? I liked it. I, similarly to JD, like, I was like into the cover looks awesome. It's a cool cover, which now that I look at it again, is like, oh, she's going through one of the doors that they talked about. But it was not, it didn't give anything away, unlike that solicit.
It's funny. I don't think that looks like a door until you know it's a door.
Yeah,
like I didn't
exactly.
know she would. Yeah,
it was like, oh, it's a rectangle. It's an artistic sort of thing,
Yes.
And I didn't notice actually that the city up there on the cover. This is a cool cover.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, very cool. The art style in general is cool. It's got this like realistic cartoonishness.
It's Luna Brothers with better coloring. It's very Luna-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like China Clugston Major meets Becky Cloonan. Yeah.
And they sell this relationship well. It's most of the first book is, or at least half of the first book is devoted to this relationship that these two women have. And I was like upset when it turns out, that they're not together. I was like, oh, that sucks. I really felt for the protagonist, and just paging through it again. The colors are great. Now we get somewhere to the middle right here. It says part 1, 53 hops left. And I notice that I'm on page 19 of 60. And I was like, oh, man. I got a lot to go. And partially because I'm trying to read it quickly, for this show. And the back half, though, flew by. Yeah. It was very cool. And then, when we get to the multiverse twist, you feel this woman's desire to go on this journey to, they've really painted a picture of her life and what she doesn't like about it. And then the art in that scene is cool too. It's pretty cool, cosmic-y sort of stuff. This right here. And the cat that she meets.
Capgra?
Yeah.
Capgra.
What
did you think, Noel?
I did. So I'm one of those nerds that flips through the solicitations and figures out what I want to sample. I did read the solicitation 3 months ago. And it was enough for me to be like, yeah, I will absolutely try that first issue. The idea of a romantic drama sci-fi. I'm like, yeah, that could be fun. But I completely forgot about it, what it was about by the time it came out. So it came as a surprise, but in kind of that I forgot, I found $20 in my jeans when I was doing the wash kind of surprise. Oh, that's right. That's where I put that. That's why I wanted to read this. This is great. It was just so delightfully done. And you guys are this is an oversized issue, but in no way whatsoever in any definition of the word was it a struggle to get through. It was just...
I felt like it was so quick. In fact, I was like, we're done?
Yeah.
It's just so wonderfully paced. I adore and hate the protagonist. She's an asshole. She's a self-destructive, manipulative human being. But we spend so much time inside of her head that you don't demonize her like lesser stories would do. And then it's just, this was wonderful. This was just straight wonderful. And that last page shocker, which I don't necessarily think we should spoil, is just, I don't want you to keep going. It's just so well done. So this story transcends multiverse and the self potentially. This is really great. This was just so wonderful. This is the best thing I read this week.
I don't know why. I think this is, I agree. It's the best thing I read this week. It's also the first thing I read this week. I don't know why. I think probably because you had said, Bolero is dope. So I think that's probably why I put it at the top of my stack, but I'm sure glad I did. I'm definitely going to, I'm assuming it's a miniseries. I don't know. Is it an ongoing because it's 53 universes?
I don't know. I think it's just a miniseries, but I believe they're all oversized, so it should be pretty hefty. Cool. But I don't know if I officially have or not, but I would like to pull this officially. Yeah. This is a wonderful story. Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. If you guys are guys and gals and they thems are out there and you want something to check out, especially if you want something a little queer and sci-fi, Bolero #1, highly recommended. Get your mitts on it and give it a gander. All right, what's next? I'll tell you what's next. I'll tell you once I consult the notes. She-Hulk #1, Marvel Comics, Rainbow Rowell, and art by Rogê Antonio. Rogê Antonio. The best character ever is back in her own series and about to glam up the whole Marvel Universe. Jennifer Walters, a.k.a. the sensational She-Hulk, is no longer savage and needs to put her life back together. She's got a career to rebuild, friends to reconnect with, and maybe represent in a court of law, and enemies to... Well, she may not want to connect with them, but they are definitely going to connect her. And the last page of this first issue is going to send Jen down a road she's never traveled, and that will shake up her life and possibly the whole Marvel universe.
Probably.
So I was excited by the cover, first of all, because Jen Bartel is delightful. I'm always happy to see Jen Bartel comic work. And the first, I guess it's not the first scene, but the main scene in the beginning where Jen can, it is the first scene. very second page. Titania? Yeah, Titania shows up. And their interaction is just wonderful. I absolutely loved their interaction so much. That made the book for me. The rest of the issue, I was like, oh, cool, this is fun. But it really is the opener on this that had me giddy. I thought it was super, super cool. I've never seen this sort of outcome for a superhero, supervillain tete-a-tete before. So, yeah, highly recommend. What did you think, Noel?
I loved this. So I think I was already half in the bag as a fan of this before it even came out, because this past year I finished the Dan Slott run of She-Hulk. Have never really read too much She-Hulk, but I was very into the character. And then I went back and read Rainbow Rowell's Runaways run, which I had always heard was great, but never read Runaways beyond, Joss Whedon's 6-issue thing, right? So to me, it's never like peaked. And that was spectacular. And I would say like Rainbow Rowell as a writer does with this exactly what she did with the Runaways, where the characters' voices are perfect and it gives you an entry point without ignoring any previous continuity. You're able to just kind of jump in with where it's at with something cute. Like, so this scene with Titania, it's adorable, it's accessible, and it is steeped in so much continuity, but it's done so like well and organically that it doesn't feel like, a barrier, which is just great. I love this. This does read very much like the Dan Slott run. The art's fantastic.
Who's this? This artist that I don't know the name of is wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard of them before, but it's bright, it's colorful, it's playful, but there's weight to it. It's not just cartoony. This again, like I set up the list of what we're talking about in order. These are the first 2 books I read this week, and I was just fucking happy. Everything is just downhill from here because this was wonderful for me.
This little scene where she's Jen finds her old wardrobe and puts on one of her old hats and is so happy that she just automatically turns into She-Hulk. That's how I took that anyway. I don't think it the hat is so big that she turns into She-Hulk. It just seemed like what's that character in Stardust when she's happy she glows? It just reminds me of that. She's just like, oh, I'm happy, so She-Hulk, because that's my happy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Also,
I didn't see it as that, but it makes sense. I thought it was just like, I can be She-Hulk now. Yeah.
That too. The two scenes before, she was afraid to rip her dress. Now she's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And tears up her skirt.
Yeah, I like that.
What'd you think?
Yeah,
Brian?
I think you. I thought it was great. Noel, you mentioned the colors, and I think that adds a lot to it, right? The brightness of this coloration. Now, I was primed to like it going in because it's She-Hulk. She's a Hulk-related character, and I think she's cool. So I was like, oh, great, a She-Hulk book. I'm also happy to see her back to her, fully in control of herself. Same personality, just in the She-Hulk body. I like that version of She-Hulk where she's just, Jen Walters, but is big and green and powerful, lawyering it up as She-Hulk in the courtroom and doing whatever she does, wearing the regular clothes. So the scene in the beginning that you mentioned, JD, was great. I don't know a lot about their relationship, but I get a strong sense of it just from this. And I kind of had that impression before. I knew Titania and Absorbing Man had gotten married and kind of retired. Mm-hmm. And I like that they're friendly, they're that kind of the villain of the hero that they're like, look, I don't really I don't really dislike you. I don't want to fight you. Both of them are kind of saying this. Like, we've developed this rapport over the years. I like that relationship, and I thought that this was a really well done version of that. And the character moments of her, she's like taking off her skirt in the middle of the street because she doesn't want to rip it because it's her only suit, which I still thought was a little odd. I was like, isn't she Jen Walters, lawyer, Avenger? Like, what's that? What's this all about? But that was fun. I do wonder how, as She-Hulk, she got her shoes back on at the end of the fight.
I don't care.
Yeah. I care.
Unstable molecules.
Unstable molecule shoes.
Yeah,
but Reed was like, I don't have enough for the skirt.
You didn't, like, she just grabbed him. It's fine. Yeah.
She puts them on.
Yeah, wait. And by the next panel, she's back to.
Oh, you think she's
Jen
like
size.
changing down
She's probably,
at the time?
Yeah, she's probably changing down and she's going down the stairs.
All right.
They
And
could
who
use
is
some
this?
coloring.
Yeah, maybe just like a lighter green. Who is this?
Yeah, like-
Mallory Book. Do we? Or
She's
is anyone
new.
familiar with?
Well,
Mallory
she's
Book?
the best lawyer in New York, former Miss
She's-
Utah.
Oh, is that right?
She is in Dan Slott's run. She works for the same law firm. They are competitors, and something happens, and she gets that scar. So
I do not remember her.
It's a frenemies. You may not have gotten there yet. It's been a while since you jumped into that book. Well,
I know, it's so good.
forever ago. Read it.
I'm also
Finish it.
curious
I had
to
a-
see
I
what
had a
happens.
baby.
So,
Hmm.
read it to
You
the
forgot
baby.
how to read just because your baby can't read.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this scene at the end, famously uncared about Marvel character shows up, and I was like, oh, cool. Let's see what's what. This seems like a good setting for the Jack of Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just so happened right behind me to have Avengers Disassembled in front of me, where doesn't he die in like the first 3 panels?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been dead for a while. I don't think he's come back since then.
No. It was Janet and She-Hulk that he walked up to and then exploded.
Oh, she was there at the time?
Yeah.
In Avengers? Was she in
Disassembled?
Avengers? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, how about that?
So there's a chat going on. So Rob, previous co-host of the podcast, Rob is in the chat, and he was saying, "Hey Noel, you should check out the what's his nuts?
Brian K. Vaughn's.
Brian K. Vaughan run of Runaways." And I had the same question, Noel, because the way you phrased it was, I haven't read anything beyond Joss Whedon's run, and I wasn't sure if that meant I haven't read anything after Joss Whedon's run, or I haven't read anything other than Joss Whedon's run. So I guess that's how Rob took that.
No, and it's literally right there, all the hardcovers. I've read Brian K. Vaughan's Runaways 3 or 4 times. I meant it's the most engaging the characters have been since. It's right there. It's the most engaging the characters have been since Brian K. Vaughan left the book, and Whedon had that really boring 6-issue thing. That's it.
Did you watch the show?
I watched the first 5 or 6 episodes. It was not the book.
No.
Yeah. I was excited for it. Then I watched a couple episodes and I just forgot about it.
You want to get sassy?
All right, let's
Katie?
move on to
Get sassy.
Arrowsmith, Behind Enemy Lines #1 from Image Comics, written by Kurt Busiek with art by Carlos Pacheco. What a team. It's World War I, but a war of wizards and dragons as much as bullets and barbed wire. Young airman Fletcher Arrowsmith plunges back into the heat of war and finds himself behind enemy lines, facing a threat that could doom the Allied powers. The first issue in a new Arrowsmith universe miniseries. So, does anyone have any background on Arrowsmith? This is a series from 20 years ago. It wasn't Gen Ed.
Tangentially aware of its existence.
Where was it
What's that?
originally published?
Oh, I have no idea.
Was it?
I was thinking it was
Next
one
Gen?
of those Next Gen. I think it was a Next Gen book.
Which was bought
Oh.
by DC, right?
Rob says Arrowsmith was the bomb 15 years ago. I wish you could have been on the show today to tell us about it, because I got to say, I saw Busiek and Pacheco, and I knew that Arrowsmith was beloved 15 years ago, but I had never read it. But I was excited. I was like, oh, this is my chance. I know they're going to be releasing a hardcover of the original series, so that's pretty cool. I have a feeling maybe they should have released the hardcover of the original series first and not this sequel miniseries. But it was cute. Basically, you got, instead of pilots, you've got soldiers who have colorful dragons, and the dragons help them walk on air and fly.
Dragonettes.
And sometimes
together.
dragonettes.
Little dragons.
Yeah, little baby dragons. And other than and then there's like trolls and stuff. There's all sort of magical creatures. And it's this
Do you notice
interesting
places have different names too? Like like this is clearly an alternate reality that is still and they have like
Colombia.
the United States of Colombia, and they've got like crossbows that shoot kind of like a magical energy kind of thing.
So
Yeah,
I got the impression I got is that it's just emerging, like it's if a Lord of the Rings style just actually progressed technologically towards like World War II era. So like the continent and the cultures are different. However, it's a facsimile of Europe and the United States, and in this kind of like
if you guys are curious, Albion is a name for Britain in this world, also in our world. It's like an older name, and it kind of has those like mystical qualities now because it is old, but it is still like, I think, something that some people will refer to Britain as if they want to be like old about it, old style, you know.
This was fine. This was very strong. It's loads of cool ideas, but it still was very boring.
Right. That's yes.
It was just so many good ideas and so much kind of coolness, but it just read so boring. And I like war comics. I actually read war comics, and I'm used to the prose and the action, but it's like I'm not sure what to put my finger on it. It feels like so much happened, but nothing happened.
Thank you. I was reading this and I was having trouble forming an opinion about it, because there's so many times I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. Oh,
it's all really cool.
That's cool as shit. How cool is that? But then I was also kind of like, am I bored? How am I bored with all of these cool ideas? Okay, it's not just me. Brian, what'd you think?
This seems like a book that would probably be a lot more engrossing had we read the original Arrowsmith, right? Yes. And if we were like, more of the Arrowsmith world that I'm already into, and this guy, I think, is the main character. I'm not sure. His name is Arrowsmith, and I assume it's the same. Yeah. You know, it's not
weird
like
if he wasn't.
If it was like his dad or brother or something, but it would be weird if it wasn't. It has the feel of like a here's a story in the holes of the other story kind of thing, or not that it takes place during it, but just
So I think it came to fruition for me, my opinion of it, like at the very last page. So this is just plot wise an incredibly engaging little narrative for the first issue. We are introduced to a mission. It's our ordinary world. He falls from the sky. All is awry. Oh my God. And then 6 weeks prior, in that 6 weeks prior story, we learn that it was always the plan for him to fall out of the sky and be embedded behind enemy lines. That middle piece to give me that information felt like a 4-hour long interlude.
Right.
They took me out of the action, and I sat with a troll having beer for 45 minutes. It was just such a smash cut. Like maybe it was necessary. Maybe they could have interspersed it with the battle better. But it just the way that this issue was constructed it felt like homework.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. I didn't even notice that is what happened.
Yeah.
It's
in the prose in the middle of the page. Like he reveals that it was always the plan because he hangs out with the troll forever. Because he hangs out with the troll, higher ups are like, you like trolls? Will you go on this mission? So his relationship with the troll, the whole entire scene, it adds color to why they asked him to go on this mission, but it has nothing to do with the actual plot of the book. So we spend all this time just kind of filling in back matter, but it halts the momentum of this issue, and it's just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, so I assumed that was like that he was a troll, a guy that we had met before in the previous. You know, he's like a main character, and their friendship is big. So this is like, oh, it's cool to see. You know, if we were reading a book and there was a scene where Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent were hanging out for a while, we'd be like, oh, but that was fun. But
I wouldn't compare it to that though, because you have a shorthand. They're just pop culture icons. There's no shorthand for this unless you read a book from 15 years ago and remember
that's
all
what I
the
mean.
Mechanics of it.
Yeah, like had you already read the original Arrowsmith, then maybe if he is a main character in it, then maybe you'd be like, oh, fun. You know, he's hanging out with the guy from the other one.
I would also then it would have if that's the case, or if I was wanting to get that across, then that scene would have had some brevity to it. Because there's always an understanding or shorthand that they know each other from previous stories. In this one, it was almost like a weird conversation or inorganic conversation of, remember that time we did that thing? Of course I remember that time you did that thing. Remember when we did that? Of course I remember that. I'm sorry we were like that when we were kids. No problem. Like it was pitter-patter that went nowhere towards the actual main plot.
Yeah, rituals got to come up, right? Like they went...
probably, but it's I don't know. It just felt like these creators are fantastic.
Oh, he's one of my favorite writers. Yeah,
this felt wanting. Now, I do want to go back and actually read the first Arrowsmith. Like, I'm interested, but this issue was kind of boring.
Rob Beatty mentions he wonders if listening to Arrowsmith would help. And I'll tell you, when I saw the book, like the little tiny thumbnail, I was like, Arrowsmith? What?
Only Rob, the answer to your question is yes, but only later Arrowsmith, like 9 Lives on. No. Past that, too. The shit that's...
Past Living on the Edge?
Yeah. We're talking like the truck commercial Arrowsmith. That's just terrible. Like that's what you should listen to when you read this.
I don't know if I can name a single Aerosmith song.
Living on the Edge.
Now I could.
Love in an Elevator. Dude looks like a lady.
I don't know that one.
What? Dude looks like a lady?
Ah, there we go. Dude
with Run DMC sometimes?
From
that's
Doubtfire.
That's Walk This Way. Run DMC.
Oh. Who did Dude Looks Like a Lady?
They did, but not with Run DMC.
No, they did it by themselves.
They did it by themselves.
Well done. Sweet Emotion, says Rob Beatty.
Oh, they did Sweet Emotion? Oh, it's a great song.
Yeah.
Dream on.
Okay, hey guys, guess what? If you want to help out the show, if you like what we're doing, like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. Share it with your friends. Tell all your buddies. Come hang out with us Monday nights at 9 p.m. Or join us on our iTunes. In addition to liking and subscribing on YouTube, you can join us on Facebook. Look for CultPop Podcasts. You can become a patron and help us out that way. You go to patreon.com/JohnnyDestructo. You can help us out there. If you don't have any money, you can just hang out with us. Just come join us, get in the chat, and engage with us. And we love to have you here chatting about comics and pop culture and all the other hullabaloo. Let's move on to X Lives 10 X Lives of Wolverine #1. Marvel Comics.
I didn't know which
10
one.
lives.
I mean, it makes sense if it's 10. 10 lives and 10 deaths.
Oh, there's 10 of them on the
comic.
cover too.
Yeah, 10.
Oh,
let's go with 10.
Nice. 10 Lives of Wolverine, number 1, from Marvel Comics, written by Ben Percy, with art by Joshua Cassara. Logan, James Howlett, Weapon 10. The mutant best known as Wolverine has lived many lives under many identities and in many places, but never before has the fate of the future been so entwined with the past. Fan favorite eras of Wolverine's saga are explored anew, along with never-before-seen episodes as Logan must travel to various points in time to prevent the death of a key figure in mutant history. But these lives aren't the only one side of the story. Be here for the start of the time-shredding saga across all of Wolverine's history and future yet to come. Fuck.
It's a long solicit.
I
mean, I think we got the gist of it like already. Yeah.
I just also the book.
You didn't dig it?
The book boring. I don't care about what's happening. I haven't read anything that leads to the series. I am assuming that somebody somewhere led into the series, and this didn't just out of nowhere. Noel had answers for me before I even read the book. It was basically Quantum Leap. So Wolverine and Omega Red, a character I've never cared about at all, are Scott Bakulaing into their bodies in order to fight each other because Omega Red wants to kill Professor Xavier.
And Jean Grey is even there as a hologram that only Logan can see and hear, I believe.
Yeah, it's Days of Future. I'm the movie version of Days of Future Past, where the consciousness is shifted forward and backwards in time.
Was that not what happened in the comic version?
I don't fucking remember. It's been forever, so I didn't want to be like called out that I'm talking about the movie and not the book. I don't remember the future exploits, but yeah, it's the. I've not been reading the Wolverine title. I presume the Omega Red of it all is in there or starts in there. But the idea, I didn't hate this. I'll just start with that.
Great.
The idea of a onslaught of an onslaught of murder attempts or assassination attempts on Professor Xavier across his entire timeline, I thought that was pretty interesting. And the only character that was around in some form throughout the entirety of his lifeline or his timeline is Wolverine. So pushing his consciousness into each like danger area or rift in Xavier's timeline to save him from being murdered. That is a cool concept on paper. This issue is a little sloppy. It's a little all over the place. Yeah. It's a little sloppy. It's a little all over the place. It does not really set up the ordinary world very much. However, this is one of those things too where like form and function. This is a weekly comic. So it's X live or 10 lives and 10 deaths of Wolverine. They're alternating 5 issues apiece, so like a 10-week event.
Oh.
I presume the 10 deaths is maybe the versions where he doesn't succeed. I don't know. But this is just, it's a cool concept. It was creepy. The art was pretty dope, but it still just feels like a zero issue. It feels like there's like just concept without real meat on the bone yet.
That's what it is. I don't care. There's nothing happening in this that I care about. I'm not emotionally attached to the thing.
I don't know who this is. Like the whole back half of the issue was a little bit of like teasing, but I don't have enough of a grounding to really care. So like, I think this might be something a couple weeks from now we find out like this is dope. But as far as this issue goes, it's just a little slight. Like it's not very heavy. Yeah. For me.
What'd you think, Brian?
I dug it too. I thought it was fun, like Wolverine. kind of story. It's not the kind of thing that didn't have me on the edge of my seat, right? I was like, this is largely inconsequential for one thing. And Rob Patey says it was Kitty who went ahead in time and did Future Past, but it was
her
the mental
consciousness,
thing,
though.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it was only her consciousness that traveled back and forth. Correct us if we're wrong, Rob. Looks way better than that Doc Ock nonsense we read last week.
Yeah, the art, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, Wolverine has never been my favorite character, but he's cool. He's fine. And Xavier is up there, so I was like, oh, that's fun. It's a fun idea. He's going through Xavier's timeline, being popped in to stop Omega Red from, presumably stopping all of the X-Men before it happened. The classic going back in time by a bad guy kind of thing. We get to see different eras of Wolverine. That's probably fun. I wonder if when he is with other heroes, if they will help, if they'll be involved. He'll be in some instances where he can do that.
If he can even say, right? That's part of it too. Like I think I have, knowing that this is weekly, I think I probably have more patience with it, knowing that I'm not waiting 30 plus days for simple answers to be questioned or questions to be answered.
Yeah.
Like the rules. Whereas if this was monthly and like a $5.99 issue, it's like nothing happened. Fuck you. I like Ben Percy a lot too. So I'm
the
kind
art's
of
good.
the writer.
Writer.
He was the writer?
I'm kind of
all right.
There's some writers that I just trust to give them a little extra time. Ben Percy's one of them, so I could totally be proven wrong that this is abject boredom, but fingers crossed. I don't know.
I'll tell you though, the art does really fit Wolverine, even though Ben Percy is the writer, not the artist. It's
Joshua Cassara,
yeah, really good Wolverine art, and I like the line about how even though Wolverine is like much older than Xavier, he says he's the closest thing to a father that he has. That was cool. And so he's at one point he hops into this like kind of war or something that I think Weapon X is, the Weapon X team is going after, and he doesn't remember it. And I found myself wondering what Wolverine's deal is right now. Does he remember? Does he remember his history?
Yes.
And he's just like, so this is unusual that there's something at this point even that he doesn't know.
He remembers his history, but I mean, he's also just been alive a long time. I don't think he remembers the details of every mission. Yeah. Or, like what he ate the other day kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I always thought when they did the origin of Wolverine, I was like, that was pretty cool. But I always pictured him being like real old, like Dawn of Man kind of old. But,
like old guard old. Yeah.
Yeah. But not the deal.
So how does Krakoa and the helmet send Wolverine into his own body? And
well, JD, it's a helmet on Krakoa.
Oh,
yeah. Now it goes back in time.
I mean, I don't know. The rules aren't, like I said, the rules aren't established yet, but because it's weekly, maybe we'll get some answers very quickly as opposed to it just being hanging. But X-Men logic stands to reason. His same body transferring consciousness because the most powerful telekinetic is able to blah, blah, blah. And I don't know.
And he's got that helmet, which is like amping up.
Well, the helmet at all times is constantly, it's amping up his abilities, but it's also constantly like codexing and then resaving consciousness of all mutants at all. I mean,
it's drop boxing all the mutants all the time.
If they just planted a seed and it turned into a Stargate for them to go back and forward in time, I'd be a little less forgiving than traveling consciousnesses. So I mean, I don't care. Krakoa grew this plant.
I'm not going to bother with this. I was as interested in it as I anticipated being. I heard this was coming, and I was like, I am not going to care about this. And then it was true.
Let's have a really quickly. Let's have a larger X-Men conversation. You've pretty much just like backed off X-Men, right?
Boom, done. I'm out. Yeah. The only thing that I'm going to catch up on is the
Say it.
Inferno.
Say it. Yeah.
Inferno. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
read
I'd like to catch up
Inferno
on that,
because you
too.
guys, you guys were saying or Noel was saying how good it is and how it really wrapped up the run by Hickman. So that's all I
Yes.
care about right now.
Go
ahead, keep talking.
Well, before our last couple of books, surprise topic, conversation topic.
Whoa.
Who or what could potentially incite you to come back into it? Came. Oh,
there she
that's
is.
the best.
Hold fast.
That's that bad boy's going behind me.
Yeah.
My Zoom calls for work.
For anyone who's listening on the podcast version of this, I'm holding up a pop vinyl, number 952. It's Kate Pride with Lockheed, and she's got the dope-ass captain's outfit, and she's got her knuckles up, and it says "Hold Fast" on her knuckles with the tattoos, and it's got Lockheed.
Baby.
Dope as shit. I'm sorry, go ahead. What would bring me back?
Yeah, what would bring you back to X-Men? What creator, what story, what characters would possibly make you think like, I'll give that a shot?
The way it feels to me right now is that Hickman started off, he had a plan, and editorial and marketing said, "Oh shit, this is really going well. Let's not end it ever."
Clone Saga, Death of Superman style.
Clone Saga, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like Death of Superman wasn't bad. I feel like Death of Superman at least had mostly a plan. Clone Saga, they literally were like, keep this going because it's making money. Don't stop. So then we were in a holding pattern for years. For 2 years, we were in a holding pattern with Ben Reilly and he's the real Spider-Man. No, Peter's the real Spider-Man. No, Ben's the real Spider-Man. Get the fuck out of here. So that's how I feel right now. I feel like we started off so strong with the best X book in decades. And now they were like, holding pattern. Don't stop it. We're just going to keep going. What if we did maybe Wolverine? You know what? Wolverine puts on a helmet and he goes back to his own body. We all remember Quantum Leap. He's got to do something. What's he got to do? Hey, Bob, what's he got to do? Xavier? Why? Okay, doesn't matter. Let's go. That's how I feel this whole run is currently with the X-Men and all of the books. I don't care.
Yeah, I actually Hickman essentially confirmed that. Like when they did Hawks of Pox, he said, like, I've got a plan, but there's a good chance that this could turn into Giant Size X-Men where it just becomes an era. And we just sit in it for a while. And no, I agree.
Now, if Noel or other people say, oh man, this new Marauders run, because I know they're starting a new Marauders run. There's the Secret X-Men coming up, a couple other books. If someone says, oh, this sounds dope, or this is dope, you should read it, then I might jump in. But I'm back to how I used to feel about the X-Men, which is there's too many of them all the time. I don't care.
Did you read The Exiles, JD, when it was out?
Oh, yeah. That book was awesome. But, Judd Winnick.
Ultimate Reality.
So, before JD answers, I will follow writers. And all the writers
I followed Hickman right off the book.
Yeah, all the writers right now are solid, but they're not writers that make me, go out of my comfort zone to try something else. I like Jerry Duggan fine, but he left Marauders, and Steve Orlando is taking over Marauders. I have never read anything from Steve Orlando that I enjoy ever.
Forget it.
He co-wrote something that I liked once. And yeah, it feels like treading water. There's tons of treading water. Now, when they release stuff like this, not saying that this was good, but this like these mini events, these little shorts that are supposed to be accessible and just like kind of quick hits, depending on the creative team, I'm like, yeah, I'll sample that just like this. But as far as X-Men books go, yeah, it's like it was fun while it lasted. Yeah. I'll wait till Hickman comes back to finish his story.
When is it? I thought like it started. Inferno started and ended already, didn't it? Or
yeah, but it's Inferno essentially is like the end of the first.
I gotcha.
Act phase era.
I see.
And now we're in stasis, and there is somewhere out there Hickman's end to
Oh, okay.
It's coup de
the
grace.
Krakoa. Yeah. Not unlike,
Love of mercy.
I think of it as like, I don't know if you guys, I know JD did, but like Morrison's New X-Men. It's like that. It's an era. They spent a lot of time in it, and then eventually Whedon came and kind of zhuzhed it up and made it something different. It's that. So Hickman is like penciled in to come back and finish that little end, and then we'll see what happens next.
As an
idea, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's a cool kind of era, right? Like as a concept of like, oh, hey, all the mutants are together. They're on this island. They're immortal. You know, it's cool. But I'm right with you, JD. I was like, the initial stuff was awesome, and I really wanted to find out about that. Marauders was great, and then it kind of ballooned into just a lot of stuff, which is fine. I mean, it's what they're doing with the X books now, and having a lot of X books is something that is financially lucrative to them. Yeah, I just kind of lost track. I lost interest. I liked Excalibur also. Like, there were a lot of books that I liked.
Yeah.
And, you know, as an X era, it's cool. But that doesn't mean I'm reading it.
Yeah. Kevin's in the comments saying X-Men is impenetrable for me. I totally get that. 100% understand. And to answer your question, Noel, what would bring me back? Kevin also commented, anything come of the implied thruple with Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean? I would come back for a Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean book about their
cool.
about their relationship. They're like, I guess it's not. Maybe is it polyamorous? What does that classify as? But like, I'm hecka interested in that. I think that sounds cool as hell.
Yeah, not so impenetrable. The three of them.
Super penetrable.
Would it be good? So like right now it's in the shadows. Like it's heavily implied, but no one really talks about it. Just like with Wolverine's actual origin, I feel like if they did explicitly tell the story, it would be wanting. Like it wouldn't be great. Like
I'd like to see it. Like
I would need it to be an
like
indie
a 50s style sitcom with that kind of thing.
Even in this, he talks about how no one's ever loved him like she has, and he has never had. So like, they talk about it. There was even some issues where Cyclops and Wolverine flirted with each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So like,
that sounds cool.
Send
the three of them on missions.
It's in the backwards.
Yeah, send the three of them on missions. Let them flirt and have relationship troubles and all sorts of the stuff that you usually do for the first time in a major Marvel book.
And full penetration. Absolutely.
Yeah. Full penetration. Yes.
100%.
I want a DP on every page.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be the same person all at the same time, but every
finger cuffs, DP, finger cuffs, DP, just like alternating.
Eiffel Tower, go. All right, let's. Gosh. Sorry, everyone.
So we're keeping it real PG, right? For this.
Not sorry. No apologies.
Batman the Knight #1 from DC Comics by Chip Zdarsky and Carmine di Giandomenico. The origin of Batman and his never-ending fight against crime in Gotham City is modern mythology. But what about the story in between? How did an angry, damaged young man grow into the most accomplished detective and crime fighter the world has ever known? How did the Dark Knight begin? Boy, finally. I can't tell you how many decades I've been asking for. Why don't they just show us like Batman beginning or, like, I don't know, year one of Batman or
like how would boy turn into that kind of man?
Yeah.
How could it
God damn it. When I saw that they were doing this, I was like, I'm getting old, man. I don't care. It's just showing us more about Bruce Wayne training to become Batman. Okay. That being said, it wasn't bad. I actually quite enjoyed it. It was actually very engaging. The art by Giandomenico is top notch as always. I've really grown to appreciate that artist, who I think I originally found in the pages of Hellblazer. So it's kind of cool that he's doing big main books now. But yeah, this is actually very, very good. I was into it. I was engaged the whole time. I like the Hugo Strange storyline, sort of how that wrapped up. I thought was very cool. Very Batman, very Bruce. So yeah, actually, as much as I was like poo-pooing this and everything, I came out of it going, all right, shit, that was pretty good. Did I need it? No. Could I have read something out that would have brought something new to my life? Absolutely. I still enjoyed it. What did you think, Brian?
I liked it. I went into it with about the same feeling. I was like, oh, another Batman origin story. And I found myself thinking, this is a part of it that I haven't necessarily seen, or at least not often. That kind of just before he goes on his like world tour of knowledge and skills and that kind of thing. And yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting how he's kind of doing his Batman stuff years and years before he becomes Batman, without knowing what to do. But also the layered nature of there's this bully, and he stops the bully from bullying this kid and then torments the bully in secret. So much so that the bully is like psychologically damaged enough to withdraw from school.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to. I'm sorry. The other, I gotta jump into this real quick. The other problem I'm having with Batman recently is coming to the conclusion that the shit he does is just police brutality on a bigger level.
Oh yeah.
It's really come to light in the past couple of years with all of the news things that have been going on, and it was brought into clarity even more so when the new Batman trailer dropped. And he's having a conversation. They're at a funeral, I think, and they're walking down the middle aisle, and there's a conversation happening where a woman's going, "Your parents were philanthropists, and from what I can tell, you're not doing anything." And he does this cute little smirk, like, I'm Bruce Wayne, I'm going to smirk, that I'm really... And it cut to him absolutely destroying a car with his car. Like, it flips over a bunch of times, it's on fire, there's an explosion, and that's supposed to be the, haha, you think I'm not doing anything. What I'm doing is endangering lives a lot with my macho bullshit. So there's something about the sort of rubber me the wrong way right now. It's just my place in the world as it exists in IRL, I guess, where it's like, haha, I'm murdering people or sending them to the hospital instead of getting them actual help. So it's that sort of thing that's been sort of bugging me about this character lately. And reading this issue, I'm a big Halloween fan, the movies. And I've been reading the adaptation, the novelization of the 1978 John Carpenter's Halloween. And in there is a segment of Michael Myers, and Dr. Loomis is reporting about how this child is interacting with all of the other inmates at Smith's Grove. And it's basically what happens here with Bruce Wayne and this bully, which is someone gives Michael Myers even the mildest of inconveniences, pisses him off, and then that person is tormented, but no one ever sees Michael do it. The water turns scalding. Terrible things happen to these kids, and it's all obvious because it's Michael Myers. And so reading that in this and having it be Bruce Wayne, it rubs me even more the wrong way. It really sort of, I'm having trouble expressing myself, but the fact that I was relating Bruce Wayne to Michael Myers might be a problem. Go ahead. What's...
well, I think Brian put his hand up because I have a couple things I'd like to
sorry.
comment
yeah,
on.
well,
Sorry.
They actually do mention that. They do address that, JD, later in the book. He wants to become a cop, and his love interest is like, we don't need another angry cop on the force.
Right.
You need to
Which is
become
great.
something else. Yeah.
It was a wonderful scene. I was like, oh, cool. If this wasn't Batman,
Right.
this would be a great scene, because what Bruce does with that information is, I just won't be beholden to other cops and the law.
I can do whatever
I will do the
want.
same thing.
Yeah.
I will do the same thing. How I will hurt people however I want, and then I'll just flitter off to my mansion.
I mean, I hate being in a position to potentially like defend a fictional character, but
you don't have to. It's my takeaway from the character recently. That's all.
I don't like previous versions, the Frank Miller version of the character. Yes, I do think that that's accurate. Your assessment is he's just a bully of bullies, and he's not actually changing anything other than just perpetuating the cycle of violence. The more modern version, I think, is a little bit more nuanced than that. The working outside of the law, because the law is as corrupt as possible. And the way that this book doesn't shy away from the fact that he is a bully, he is fucked up. Every opportunity that Alfred gives him to kind of find his path, he turns it into another weapon. Even the library, he turned into a weapon, which was just so cool. Like, I loved the dynamic between Alfred and Bruce in this, and not shying away from the fact that he is damaged and he's violent and he's shitty. I like that. In regards to the trailer for the new movie, I loved that conversation in the trailer of "you're not doing enough," because he's not. I didn't do the smash cut as I didn't like think of the smash cut as a "prove you wrong" SJW. I saw it as I think that like I suspect that is going to be kind of a ongoing conflict in the movie. He thinks he's doing something good, but he can't be emo boy and just beat people up to actually make a difference in Gotham. This is supposed to be like year 1.5, year 2.
Yeah.
So I hope that that's actually the arc of the movie. You think cool. You're making a progress, but you need to like do it in the daytime also.
Yeah. Like, also, why is he not being a philanthropist? Like, being Batman takes a lot of time, but you can't write a check. Just give money to these.
I actually think because they put that scene in the trailer, I think that's probably going to be a larger plot point, that he is not smart enough yet to juggle two personas. Yeah, because he's not like going to cocktail parties and writing checks in the trailers. He's training and being a little shitty emo boy.
Yeah, he's
staying out of public sight. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Kevin's in the comments making very good points. Yeah, Batman is best when punching up, not punching down. Batman versus Darkseid, awesome. Batman versus doped up drug dealer, kind of sad. That's it. I think that's it. If when he's on the Justice League, right, and he's that Batman, cool as shit. I love that guy. But yeah, when we're dealing with real world Batman, like we did with Christopher Nolan's stuff and with this upcoming Batman movie, The Batman, I guess it's called, I have trouble rooting for the guy. So that I like to see him actually doing detective work, not just blowing other people's cars up with his car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did the my favorite Batman stories are the ones, I mean, save from the ones where he is the underdog and just preparation and information and knowledge gets him where he needs to be. But the ones where he's solving a crime and he doesn't have to beat anyone up because just his presence and his entry into the story is enough to scare whoever it needs to scare or put whoever it needs to put away. Like, I love the smaller short stories where he does tackle a drug dealer, but it's not beating them up and hanging them upside down and making a show of it. Just more like getting them put away or this or that, or just showing up in a door frame and they drop their weapons because they're fucked. Like, those are my favorite like versions of it, not the extra martial militant fascist Batman.
I feel like that
fascist Batman. Yeah,
I feel like that has a bit gone away. Just
more
like
or less.
Comics in general, like drug dealers are less often the enemy, and if they are, it's like no, this is some bad, like really hurts the people and enslaves them to the drug kind of drug. You know what I mean? Now, whether or not, like, and he never beats up the drug users, just the people who are pushing it. Now,
peddling it,
the idea of drug and drug treatment is much more complex than that. But
I picture Christian Bale with his bat voice going, "I'm going to get you the help you need."
28 days. Yeah.
We're going to do the 12 steps together. Swear to me.
This scene where Alfred is repeatedly,
where's your coin?
Alfred is repeatedly like very disappointed in young Bruce Wayne.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And I think that will be an arc of this book. This is not Batman learning the skills necessary to be Batman. This is him learning the restraint necessary to be Batman.
Excellent point. And also too, like the last page of this book, it kind of does like a preview of what's to come with the characters that are showing up in this book. And I was actually surprised, like Hugo Strange is kind of probably going to be sticking around. This girlfriend that I don't know anything about.
I'm not sure she's even been around before.
Yeah, she might be new.
Yeah.
Ducard showing up, his, like the guy that trained him at during certain like versions of Batman. Like, I complain about being Batmaned out, and I've seen his origin story. I don't give a shit. But if these 6 issues are going to sit in this era and actually explore it, that might be fun. That might be a fun story to read, right?
And it is Chip Zdarsky.
Really deal with it. Yeah.
So, I've been zooming in on this page here because I'm looking. If you don't read the text here, this is the scene from Spider-Man: No Way Home, or Spider-Man: Homecoming, with the Vulture in the front seat, and he's turning around to threaten Spider-Man. I just thought that was funny. Like, these 4 panels look like that scene.
Never seen Alfred so angry. It's great.
Yeah. I love, and that's the other problem that I have with sort of the characters sometimes is how, like, I don't think Alfred would go along with half of the shit Bruce does for Bruce's own good. Like, I'm just going to bring you cucumber sandwiches and some tea.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I always picture it as like Bruce Wayne goes off for a while and is completely out of communication and then comes back and he will not be swayed. It's like, I'm going to go and do this thing. And Alfred tries to talk him out of it, but then, there was something that happened early on that he's like, all right, I'm not talking him out of it. And he is actually helping, he's stopping, he's helping these people and stopping these other people from hurting them.
Like Alfred's more, not so much as co-signing it, just mitigating risk.
Yeah.
But I think later on in their relationship or later on in his crime fighting days, it is co-signing it because he has seen Bruce grow into what he is.
And he's like, you can't stop. The world needs you. And I'll help you do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Hal in the comments says, "I'm out. After Batman, Catwoman, I'm out." And Kevin says, "I too have started feeling bad for all the henchmen that he just demolishes." So yeah. And then Mars says, "Well put, Brian. Very well put."
Thank you.
Whatever you said, it's well done.
I don't remember what it was, but you did it well.
I think it was the thing about Batman and restraint. That's my guess. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What's up next? It's, we're going to stay in the Bat family. Catwoman number 39 with DC Comics, written by Tini Howard, with art by Nico Leon. Meow. Catwoman is bored of Alleytown and has returned to Gotham City proper for bigger fish to fry and to go back to doing what she does best, stealing crime boss secrets for blackmail and looking damn sexy while doing it, of course. New ongoing series writer Tini Howard makes her DCU series debut writing The Cat of the Night, placing Catwoman in her first blackmail heist disguise as a stripper at Gotham's most secure underground club. Oh, Catwoman, hiding in plain sight in 5-inch platform heels at a gathering of Gotham's crime elite while surrounded by all the beautiful women and other shiny things to look at? What could possibly go wrong? Who fucking wrote this? God damn it.
It's more
Big fan of the
words
Adam
than
West show.
it's more words than the goddamn issue. But yeah, sure.
Jeebus. Oofa.
This is another book
okay.
that I didn't realize was flashing back for a while. It was like, until they flash forward again, I was like, oh, that was a flashback.
Actually, first of all, wonderful cover. This is a
Yeah.
delightful cover.
Yeah.
I love it. She's wearing the wrong outfit, but that's okay. She's also wearing those fucking heels. Jesus. Very, very cool. And the art inside is really good.
Yeah.
This is another name that I have not heard before. Nico Leon. Boy, this is a good looking book. Who did the colors on this? We don't know, do we?
Yeah,
But,
these purple tones, purple
James.
indigo kind of stuff. Awesome. Yeah.
James. I don't know. I'm making up names.
James. It's
Jeff.
oh, it's Jordi Belair. Jordi Belair.
Yeah. Jordi
Yeah,
Belair.
she's been around for a while.
Did
I
you
mean,
know?
Jordi Belair's been around for a while. I've seen that name a lot. But this is a wonderful looking book. I think it's a little overwritten. But we're introduced to a new villain? Question mark? Not quite
Which
sure.
one are you referring to, even?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true. I'm
that's
sorry.
right.
A new costumed character who wears very
Ah.
expensive cologne.
Yeah, intriguing
And once-
cologne as well.
Yeah. But I really like the characterization of Catwoman. This feels like Catwoman to me. I think she's spot on. Man, the way they draw the vinyl, like the leather outfit and everything, is very cool with all the shine.
Yeah.
The way she handles the bad, the crime bosses at the strip club, very, very cool. And I even like it's a little silly. It's a little kind of like in Spider-Man Sam Raimi's, you mess with one New Yorker, you mess with all of us. You know, that whole thing. You've got strippers like pulling this move that we see here up on the page just to defend Catwoman. But again, cool idea. And we see Black Mask, who I have never cared about that character, but now that canonically in my head, it's
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor under that mask. I love this guy. I read him the same way that he sounds in the Birds of Prey movie. So yeah, I think this was better than I expected it to be. What did you think? No.
I agree. I think it was better than I expected it to be. The art was awesome. There's a whimsical nature to Catwoman's characterization here that is very similar to what I've been reading with Black Cat by Jed McKay.
Oh.
It's a confidence and humor that I don't know if the character, like, I haven't read her in a while, but it doesn't feel like she's been depicted with that kind of like light hand lately. You know, it's been a little bit dour and grand scale, not necessarily smaller, more
Devil May Care.
yeah, a little bit. Like I know that that's baked into her characterization, but it just hasn't really reflected in the books. Is that by Jed McKay?
Yeah. It's
what?
next week's Mary Jane and Black Cat.
Is it by Jed McKay though?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it by Jed McKay though? Hey, did
I'm sorry, I've
you
never heard
order
of it.
me?
Who's that?
Did you order me volume 6? Because I really want to finish the run. Either way.
I don't know.
It has the same kind of like feel that's just kind of loose and confident and humorous and sexy, and this was just a really like fun book. It was overwritten, shit ton of text heavy that the art was already kind of like covering, but
Yep.
as for like I'm kind of surprised this isn't a new number 1. Like,
Yeah, they say it like almost explicitly on the cover. They're like, start here. And I went down to the number part to see if it was a number 1. It is not.
I'm usually the kind of person that's just like, why bother renumbering? What the fuck? You're just gonna launch it again. they should have made this a #1 or a mini series or something like.
Yeah. First issue of a new, like they really wanted that #1 on the cover.
This is a fantastic jumping on point, and
Yeah.
it's really, really well done. It's really strong for a character that I have basically no interest in like following singularly. I like this a lot. It was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever regularly read a Catwoman book, although I think I read a little bit of it in the purple suit, long boots era, long boots, long gloves era.
Oh gosh, who was that? What was that artist's name? Jim Ballant?
Yes. You didn't like that costume?
He always drew her with boob socks.
Boob socks.
I'm sorry. He drew her like she was a completely naked woman, except she was her outfit was sprayed onto her.
I don't know if I took note of that.
When a woman is wearing a top that is not fabric and it's just boobs that are painted, I call those boob socks because it's like the shirt is so tight around the boobs.
So the entirety of Frank Cho's work.
Oeuvre, yes.
Yeah. Have you guys read the second issue of Catwoman Lonely City? I know we're not reviewing that.
No, not yet.
I did not.
It's so great. But they do joke. It's the future, and she meets some fans. In the book, there are 2 instances where somebody says, I had a poster of you on my wall. And she asks, which one? And the kid is the male kid is like, oh, the purple costume. And they show it really quickly. And she makes a look and he's like shy. Good choice. She like gives him a good choice. And then the female character, female character later in the book is like, I had a poster of you on my wall. And she's like, which costume? And it's the Darwin Cook goggles costume. And she bends down to the girl and says, that's my favorite. And then walks off. Like it's such a wonderful kind of like meta moment in this future book. I can't recommend that book enough. It's really great. Catwoman.
Also, I'm gonna push back a little bit on this Frank Cho thing because while Frank Cho's meat and potatoes is cheesecake, a lot of food in that sentence, he doesn't really do the boob socks as much.
I got it. Talk amongst yourselves. I got a perfect example of Frank Cho boob socks. Hold on.
Yeah, I like the book. I thought it was a fun, like Catwoman's got a scheme kind of book. Wondering what sort of cat this is, which has a
magic
Starfield on its back.
Yeah, the Starfield. I thought it was a magic cat or something.
Right. Or like the guy painted his cat. I don't know. Because they say what kind it is, and I'm assuming in our world there is not a Starfield on these cats. But yeah, the art was amazing. Black Mask I've always thought of as like a third string at best. It's like, oh, you've got Batman's Real Rogues Gallery, and then Black Mask showed up at some point later. And he's no threat to anybody. Don't worry about him. But yeah, he's interesting. And they draw Catwoman really well in and out of costume, I think. Very expressive, very much like how I would picture Selena Kyle sitting and moving around, And I liked her response to the cat also, was very Selena Kyle. Like, ooh, I'm all about this cat. But something's up. This cat's really cool, though. I would like to keep this cat, but I gotta go.
Cats are kind of my thing. Yeah.
Right.
Although in the beginning, I will say she's a litter bug. She's on a gargoyle at the top of a building, sipping a hot coffee, and then the next panel is her jumping off the building. Where'd you put that cup?
Yeah. I wondered how she got the cup up there. But I guess she's very good at balance. But she's a cat, man. She doesn't care about that kind of thing.
I mean, no, that's literally.
So I was gonna say, is it not boob socks?
Liquid metal.
He draws all of the women. naked and then just puts form-fitting
It's
colors on
it's
them.
not like he doesn't do it. It's just he doesn't do it as much as like other people do. I think.
What was that liquid metal on that woman? What was that plot point?
That was Ultron. This is Mighty Avengers.
That's gonna be a
Avengers
problem.
Assemble by
All right.
Bendis.
Yeah.
Mars Comics says, of course it's Bel Air. The B cover was beautiful too. I didn't see the B cover. And Kevin
Yeah.
says, is it just me or is Catwoman way more interesting these days post Tom King? I haven't really been a fan until recent history. I agree with that. Yeah, I haven't really cared about Catwoman in a long time. I actually did like her in, I think, year one, Batman year one.
Well, and you also like Batman Catwoman.
Well, wait, when you say
Yeah.
when he says post Tom King, does he mean Mars? Do you mean
it's Kevin.
what?
But yeah.
Oh, Kevin, sorry. Do you mean what Tom King did with her relationship with Batman? So like that made all these stories possible now, or you didn't like what was happening with her and Batman, and now it's good? Like I don't understand what you mean, because all of those dynamics that were kind of created in the Tom King run, the relationship, the mutual respect, I'm not going to change you, but we could still be kind of thing. I think that's my favorite version of Catwoman, and this is just kind of a progression of that.
Yeah,
they have
are
separate
they still-
lives. put
That sounds
together.
like that's the way I took it too.
Oh, okay.
Are they still together?
Ever since-
He's just in Europe right now.
Yeah.
All right. I'm into that.
But yeah, this was good. I was surprised. I didn't really care about it, but I didn't think I would care about it, but then it was quite delightful. It's time for Thunder Rounds.
Thunder Rounds.
A Thunder Round is a 60-second review. I'm gonna do Detective Comics 1049, and then Noel is going to do Angel #1. So who's gonna get 60 seconds for me? Who's gonna put me
I'll
on
get
the
a
timer?
I'll get a timer. Okay, yeah.
All right.
Just
So
relax.
Detective Comics 1049 by Mariko Tamaki, Yvonne Reese with inks by Danny Miki. When Huntress elected to go undercover in Arkham Tower, it was to investigate a place of healing that seemed too good to be true. But what happens when Helena Bertinelli really does need some healing? And there's a whole bunch of other stuff. Gotham, House of Gotham Part... Oh, what, you ready to go?
I mean, if you are.
I'm ready to go.
And go.
Okay, so I have not read Detective Comics. I meant to pick up Mariko Tamaki's run because it started with Dan Mora, and I didn't get a chance to until just now. It is now going weekly, and it's doing a... Oh, God, that's weird. And it's weekly now, and it has been delightful. It's really, really good. I really like what they've done with the Arkham Tower and the fact that Batman's no longer around. That guy's not here to punch drug dealers and make them feel bad. It's actually all of the other characters that I like more than Batman, the Bat family. It's got Nightwing, it's got Batwoman, it's got Huntress. And the way this story is being told is sort of Tarantino'd. It's a little bit like Pulp Fiction. We see the beginning, we see the end, and then we're getting little chunks in the middle. And we get to figure out what's going on with Dr. Bear, and clearly he's not on the up and up, et cetera, et cetera. This has been really, really good. Highly recommended. Read it.
End of round.
Yeah, I did it.
Brian, I was putting up the timer for you to see, and you could yell end of round.
End of round.
I didn't notice. I'm sorry, guys. End of round.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Noel.
Little late.
Noel is go. Oh, you know what? Before we do this, Kevin has commented, yes, seeing the Bat-Cat relationship endeared me to the character quite a bit, and now I hear nothing but good things.
Agree. Yeah,
that
I just
continues.
want to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you should read Catwoman number 39.
It's a good place to start. It's
Is
the
it 30
first
was it 30?
issue
Oh, it is
of a
39.
new thing.
Yeah. All right, so Noel is going to be doing a Thunder Round
Thunder Round.
of Angel #1, written by Christopher Cantwell, with art by Daniel Bayliss. Welcome to Detective TV, starring Angel and his co-star, Cordelia. But wait! Angel isn't just a celebrity. No, he leads a double life as a real monster hunter for Angel investigations. I'm going to bring up my... whatever that thing's called, timer. Here we go.
Is this in an alternate timeline? or-
I'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, Noel. Ready and go.
I'm going to say this, and I don't necessarily mean it in a bad way. this book is so far up its own ass. It's impressive. In the Buffyverse books, they have introduced the idea of a multiverse. So there are multiple versions of Buffy and her cohorts, and the comics, the cartoons, the TV show. It's all kind of coexists in a weird way, but that is now Angel. So this is a version of Angel that it's the TV show, but on top of the TV show of there being Angel investigations, he's also plays a private detective vampire on a TV show, but they don't really know he's a vampire. But all the other characters still do the Angel investigation stuff, and he doesn't show up because he's on TV. It's so meta, it's annoying, but I didn't dislike it. It's fine.
End of round.
So wait, I don't want to talk about the book, but I do like.
Said end of round.
There's a bigger point to make. Hang on, this isn't about the book. This is about the Buffy books. Is that fair?
Addendum round.
So last night, was it last night? Yesterday, we were in the shop, and somebody was asking about the Buffy stuff, and
Yes.
JD, you mentioned like, oh yeah, it's like a multiverse. For some reason, that made me coil because the books, the Boom Studios books, the Boom Studios relaunch of Buffy that happened a couple years ago, they're up to like issue 34 or 35 now. The idea of the multiverse has only been in the last like 2 arcs.
Right. I was not talking about the story. I was not talking about the story. I was talking about, in order to make it clear what that book was, even before you had said that the book actually introduces a multiverse, I have been saying, oh, it's like a multiverse version of the show. So it's like if the show was taking place on another universe, how it may have transpired.
Like the show itself is from a different reality.
Yes, the show. Yeah, we have our version of Buffy, which comes from the television show. This is what I would call a multiverse version of it, where all the characters are there, but everything plays out differently.
Some part of me hates that multiverse is now like in the popular nomenclature as opposed to just a way for us to describe things, because everyone's like familiar with a multiverse now with like TV shows and stuff. So the expectation is, so when are all the versions going to fight? Like it's more along the lines of this is just a different version of the same story, because I wonder what's going to transpire. So the Buffy book alone was wonderful. Yeah, see, wow, yet another multiverse. It's not a multiversal book. It's just like a new big bad, almost like the 3rd season was a different version of Buffy or Giles or some shit. Like the book was just a retelling, and then it just kind of turned into that. So I would feel bad. No, it's not misleading. It's just, I think I'm just kind of sad that it's going to be considered now, when it's done, a multiverse book, when it was something different before. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just kind of sad about that.
Like my understanding is that they mention a universe without shrimp in the original Buffy TV series, and it has been there. It's just like a throwaway line. I
don't remember that.
Wait, I'm going to finish this for you. Yeah. That's the Boom Studios universe.
Yeah, like they are. It's like everything in the universe is exactly the same, except they don't have shrimp. Which comes up in, Anya is saying like, oh, there's other universes out there.
That's in the show. That's in the show. And in the book, they confirm that the universe you've been reading for 20 odd issues is the one with no shrimp, because it's after the first time that they just are told or find out that there are multiple versions of them, string theory wise. Anya keeps making jokes about, we have to go to this taco truck while we're here. You believe me? It'll be great. We got to go to this taco truck. So they take to-go food when they finally go back home and defeat the big bad, and they're eating the tacos. And it's just a throwaway line at the end of the episode or the end of the issue with somebody being like, what did she call these? Shrimp? They're delicious. Even warmed up, they're delicious.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I had no idea. I love that. That's
holy shit. It's very deep in the weeds, but it's so deep in the weeds that So I'm not saying, JD, how
Wow.
dare you describe this as a multiverse book to some other reader. I'm almost sad that it's going to just be labeled as another multiverse because that's popular now with the Loki shit and blah, blah, blah. Because it's not that. It's just that's a small part of it.
I
It's
met
just
it
like
in the
another
meta
retelling.
version.
I know, but I feel like how we communicate is different than
Yeah.
how normies process.
See, now Mars
information.
Comics is in the comments saying, I still think of the multiverse as like an Elseworlds. And that's how I used to describe things to people before I had the word before multiverse was nomenclature, right? Was in the zeitgeist. Because people would be like, what? Same thing though, Elseworlds, people are like, what? So now that multiverse is a word that everyone knows and understands, Elseworlds, I don't have to use that anymore. Because this is what this Buffy is. It's like an Elseworlds.
I guess multiverse implies a stronger connection between those two universes, whereas Elseworlds is like, this Superman is not anything like the Superman that you're used to, and they are not related narratively in any way, and they won't cross over. But I come at this from like my cosmological view of reality is like, no, that is probably the case. Like, there are probably an infinite amount of infinitely varied things, and everything that you can think of is happening. So, yeah, of course, there's There's all the multiverses that are described in our stories, and the ones that we haven't gotten to yet, or maybe never will. You know.
All right, guys. Logically and rationally, I absolutely understand what you're saying, but I'm talking about like the base level of how people just like log line sell a book, and it's almost sad that that's what the Boom Studios Buffy verse is going to kind of be boiled down to, when it's a lot more
Nuanced?
elegant and nuanced than that. Yeah. But the reason why it also kind of came into fruition, not just that conversation with that, first of all, we got that guy to buy the first 2 volumes. So, but
from JD's Hero Complex.
Yeah, JD's Hero, located on 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA.
There it is, all around him.
Yeah. But in this issue, Angel #1, it is a huge part of the first chunk of the story, like a version of Adam. Adam, I think is his name from the show. The
boyfriend.
No,
Buffy. No.
The Andrew. Sorry, Andrew.
Right.
A version of Andrew, naked, bloodied, jumps through a portal to save his life and ends up in this universe. And now he's looking for versions of himself to, to warn them that something's coming. So instead of this being a smart story that just kind of exists over here, they explicitly make it part of this multiverse conflict. Right. It almost diminishes the story.
Yeah. Because it's now functioning as a limb of the other Buffy, as opposed to being its own thing.
Yeah, as opposed to it being just kind of like cute and meta. Now it's like, look what we're doing. Look what we're doing. Look what we're doing. It's like, all right, I get it. You're up your own ass now. It's confirmation bias. Stop it. Anyway.
All right. End of round.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
End of round.
Long story short, fuck your multiverse.
Fuck your Yankee blue jeans. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us and talking about comic books. Join us here every Monday night at 9:00, where we will do it all over again. I will probably have a beer. We'll talk about comics. Maybe we'll talk about some other stuff. Anything else? You can go to patreon.com/JohnnyDestructo. You can help us out that way. You can subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you know when we go live. Really, the thing is, come hang out with us. We're just lonely and we want to see you. So thanks so much, and we will talk at you later.